What is my dog? What? Hey, what is it?
All right, well, we are here. We got a great guest coming your way from Bellator. We got Ben, Big Tuna Parrish. For those of you that don't know, Ben's coming off a huge victory over a ranked opponent, which we're going to get into that because we think you should be in the rankings to start with. But 38 seconds, ended it quick night in the office, obviously not getting paid by the hour. Ben, how are you doing today?
Doing great, man. How are you?
We're doing good. So kind of just to give you a background on Ben, and we were just kind of discussing this off air, is Ben isn't going to be your typical UFC fighter where he's fight only. Ben actually has a full-time job, and based on other interviews that I've heard, the man does love it. He works for a company named Fastenal, which, as much as I want to say I'm familiar with it, I'm not nearly as familiar with it as Sam. But Fastenal, great company to work for, it sounds like. What input do you have on that one?
It is a great company. They work with you on your schedule. A lot of that's the whole reason I got started actually. So let me tell you a story. When I started working for Fastenal, at this time I was only teaching MMA and kickboxing. Okay. And I was making a good bit of money doing that. And when my daughter started school, I had, 8 hours a day at least that I didn't have anything to do other than, besides when I would be training. So I got a part-time job. One of my friends from high school has worked for Fastenal for a long time. And he was like, man, I'm just telling you, like, if you want to make some money, you want to work, but you don't want to work to the point to where, like, when I was framing, building furniture frames and any kind of construction site work, any of that stuff, like, you make more money, but you're like also about to die. So you don't have a lot left going to the gym in the evening. And that's not all, like, you're going to work, but some days, there's definitely days where I leave and I'm like, man, I'm so tired and I still got to go to the gym and do work. But there's some days to where, it's not as bad as others. Really good company. They pay good. They got good benefits. Like I said, I started working there because of the flexible schedule, and I broke my leg in my only pro loss, which should be a no contest. I actually talked to my opponent from that fight today on the phone, and we still give each other a good bit of heckle. Logan Woods, he's moving to Sanford MMA next month, so I'll be going down there to get round 2 with him. Round 3, actually. We've sparred several times before we fought, and I started working there before, and they think that I had stress fractures because I was working 8 hours, and sometimes I would train in the mornings before I went in to my job. And then as soon as I got off work, I'd pick my daughter up from school. I would drive 45 minutes to Oxford to train. I would train I teach one fitness kickboxing class. I would train from 4 to like 7 or 8, just depends. And we're talking the whole 9 yards, MMA and strength conditioning, or strength conditioning and MMA, back and forth, one or the other. And yeah, they pretty much told me that I worked myself to death, or not to death, but like I had stress fractures in my legs from all the running. I also had to cut from 219 to 185 in like 4 weeks on the dot. And I just overdid it, man. And every time I've ever went to middleweight, I just don't feel right. It's like I lose my speed. You saw the speed difference from light heavyweight, like moving. They're usually bigger and slower. It's like move faster. But at middleweight, they're usually faster than me. So
definitely, and it showed right away in that fight. I mean, there obviously you could watch that thing probably without even blinking because it went so quick. Now, with having a full-time job, is it difficult for you to kind of get that time off when you need it, going into fight weeks and really kind of honing in on the final weeks of your preparation when you go to these fights?
no, not really. I'm on salary, and I can, as long as I get my work done and log my hours, it's fine. But I have vacation time. I just had used a lot at the first of the year before I even took the first fight with Bellator, and then I took off work and went to Connecticut and made weight, and the fight fell through. So I lost a whole week there, and I even took like a few days the week before, I think, so I could focus on like recovering and just really sharpening everything up. So I just used all my vacation time, and then I actually went on vacation in August after they canceled the second time. And when I got back from that is when I was for sure that they were just gonna like, bump Edwards to fighting a ranked opponent and leave me in the dust. And I'm glad they didn't. And I think they probably are too. They just don't know it's yet.
I think they're starting to get an idea because as soon as that fight was over, every single troll on the internet had shut up, which is something that you did mention about building chairs for these internet trolls to kind of sit on. Since the victory, how has the trolling been? Has it been an increase, or have they kind of been slowing down a little bit
Oh,
on you?
brother, almost zero.
Oh, I'm
Nobody's
sure.
saying nothing. Almost zero flames. And that they pop in every now and again, but they're usually just spam accounts, no post, 10 followers, fake profile picture, and they hit and run. And I just don't like. I don't even respond to them. I just am like, at
Another
least be a
one.
real person. At least be
And
a real person. That way I can like go to your profile and flame you back.
exactly.
I can imagine it's pretty hard to troll someone, knocking someone out in 38 seconds.
Yeah, now they don't because they're like, well, now that you mention it, he may this and like uh, she's going on a field trip tomorrow, and she come to tell me that I had to pack her lunchbox before I forgot, like I've ever forgot in my life. Hey, go in there, let me finish, and I'll do it. Okay.
So then
Yeah.
obviously the trolls have kind of shut their mouth. Have any fighters kind of gone at you now? Because now you're starting to become a bigger
Nah,
name in Bellator.
just
It may
Luke,
not
just
seem
Luke
like it.
Trainer.
It may not seem like it because of the rankings, which how baffled were you that your name didn't show up on those rankings right after that fight?
I mean, to say I'm surprised would be like, stretching it a little bit. Like I get it. If I'm the rankings man, okay, this is just me. Um, I'm taking Alex Polizzi and Grant Neal out for
Okay.
being born decision fighters. Nothing against them either, but I'm just saying, they're not very friendly. I was sitting by them all week, and I would just kind of talk. We have to sit there and look at each other. If we're gonna fight anyway, I don't have to be ugly to you unless you just want me to. They're just super non-responsive. So I was like, whatever. And then after I saw them fight, I was just like,
It
and
matches the
that's the thing. Who's
personality.
talking about? Who's wanting to watch that? Be honest too.
Yeah, no, you're not. You're not
Nobody.
wrong. I mean,
So, and I was looking at the actual rankings the other day. I thought they might stick me in at 10. I think they should put Trainer in at 9, me in at 10, and then everybody else that just fought jumbled around. I was even kind of wondering if they would. I wonder what Lyoto Machida's deal is. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, whereas like I thought maybe they would cut Melvin Manhov if you didn't want to spend a lot of money, you know. But he's actually got a winning record in the 205 division. So that would be somebody needs to fight. Some of these guys that ain't doing nothing need to fight. I want to fight Lyoto, but I don't think that would ever happen for him. It's a lose-lose for him. He's going to say that, If he wins, so what? If he loses, he's lost 4 in a row. And he lost to this guy. It's probably time to call it. But that's what would happen. I put him out of the sport.
so that would be the
Respectfully.
guy that you want to fight. Now, has Bellator kind of gone up to you yet and started to work on a deal for you? Nothing yet. Wow.
I ain't heard anything. Like I've just been waiting. My manager says just be patient. We're just waiting.
Usually, though, you end up talking to guys like yourself, and that ends up becoming a huge fight is your next fight. So, I mean, maybe it would be better not to rush into anything, but with holidays coming up, it's going to get a little bit slower as we get up here.
Right, and I figured that this would happen. Coker keeps bringing up, and when they ask him about me, that I don't have any vacation time left. I would, I talked to my district manager, and he's like, he's super okay with working something out with me. So, if they want me to get busy for the end of the year, man, I've been staying ready. I just got home from the gym earlier. I mean, I haven't changed anything, man. I literally went right back to life as I know it. As soon as I got back. And really, I'm hoping that I get the Machida fight. If not, I mean, I'll take anybody, in the top 10 as long as we can work something out.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be here. Really, I
mean,
think that I'm better than anybody. Obviously, like there are ways to win, but I will park Ryan Bader like a car with 4 flat tires. That's one internet troll said, "I love you, man, but there's no way you could beat Ryan Bader." And I just was like, okay, like I said, parked like a car with 4 flat tires. I would hit him so hard. And Corey Anderson and Vadim Nemkov, two toughest for sure. You saw Nemkov get dropped by Anglikas. If I hit him like that, he's going down as well. I thought that guy looked really good. His muscle makeup is probably a little too extra. That's why he kind of got tired once the wrestling exchanges start. I haven't even got to show my grappling off yet. I do a lot of I'm more like they said in the interviews, I'm just a grappling guy. But
yeah, and you shut up everyone with that one right away.
And I work, I've really was more of always a stand-up fighter from the start, and I've always knocked people down before I submitted them.
Yeah.
Is the thing they don't tell you. And I just want to get in there and get busy, man. I want to put on a freaking entertaining fight. And it can be Luke Trainer, it can be Leota Machida, it can be anybody, ABC, GI, anybody can get it. Like Adrian Broner said,
yeah,
you want it, I want it.
What we really need is there to be an event. I know you've said it before, in either Tennessee or Memphis area or somewhere in like the Southeast, Mid-South region. Because I mean, it seems like that region just produces great talent. We're seeing the great start to the pro career of Hannah Guy. We got Bryce Mitchell, 14-0 in the UFC. Obviously a little bit older now, Dustin Poirier, as well as Daniel Cormier, all these guys from that region. And we just don't show enough love going down there and putting on these big events for what seems to be fans everywhere.
I agree. I think New Orleans and Atlanta would be good places. They haven't, the UFC hasn't gone to either one of those in a long time. There hasn't been a Bellator came to Mississippi in 2018, I think, when they were changing over, and the main event was Alexander Shlemenko and Kendall Grove, and they really did all the local pros dirty, super dirty. This is when Bjorn Rebney was changing over to Scott Coker in that bunch. I want to say so. The staff was just kind of like knew that they were
on their way.
They were working on borrowed time essentially, so they just didn't care. But the one before that, Michael Chandler, Will Brooks, and Rampage Jackson versus King Mo, I was in both of them. I was at both events, and it ran really well, and everybody loved it. They loved all the Bellator staff and everything then. So I don't know. I think whenever the companies the change of hands happened, it kind of
I know.
But I'd love for them to come back to Memphis or even Nashville.
Scott Coker's really done a nice job with Bellator, and it goes unappreciated just because, I mean, it seems that Bellator does have that Showtime deal, which Showtime can be a little bit difficult at times. However, I mean, it's just one service that it seems everyone has anyway. But Scott Coker's done a great job, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're not too far off from getting an event in either Memphis, Tennessee, or one of these areas. I think you might be a little frozen here. Is it just me or is it a little frozen?
Yeah, it's a little frozen.
So it's been a while.
You actually froze up during that. We got to see you kind of bring over the hat, but we didn't get to hear anything behind it.
This got this hat at I think the Rampage versus King Mo. It was whenever they were on Spike TV. It still got the Spike TV thing on the back of it. It's funny that it worked out this way. You know, one thing, I've never been to a live UFC event.
Really?
Because like you said, they don't really come anywhere near here. Like,
yeah, it's always.
I didn't go to the Nashville cards because all the MMA guys in Nashville hate me, and it's a long story. I hate them back, so I don't really care. But the card wasn't that good, and I wasn't fixing to pay that much money to sit in the nosebleeds. And the only guy I would have went to watch was Bryce. I've known Bryce for 10 years probably, and I think maybe Luis Pena was on there as well. Probably shouldn't talk about him. I've known him a long time as well, but sad situation with that.
Yeah. So speaking of you hating Nashville, there's probably someone else that you might not hate, but you kind of dislike. Since your Bellator fight, we've heard a lot about the Dak Prescott story. Has he reached out yet? Because I mean, as you're getting bigger, nothing yet.
Nothing. I brought this up the other day to somebody else. I keep trying to get somebody to get a hold of him, but he's too busy counting money to acknowledge me, I guess. And whatever. And as long as they don't win a playoff game this year, I don't really care if he does.
And for the fans that don't know what I'm talking about, can you kind of just like quickly go over strength coach and?
So in 2013, I fought one of Mississippi State's football team's strength coaches, and the football team came to the fight, and they were all them and all the normal regular Starkville rednecks were there. And it's known to be can be a rowdy place at Mississippi State. And this was in Columbus, which is like 30 minutes away from Starkville probably. So they all drove in. The football team's all there in their maroon track suits. They wear maroon. And they're making fun of me and laughing in the crowd. And I absolutely mauled the guy, crucifixed him, and, laid him out. And Dak was there. He was playing quarterback at the time. And they all turned their back and walked out of the venue afterwards. And it was probably beating Christian Edwards almost. I think that it's going to be bad close. Top moments in my fighting career, I think I've had 16 or 17 fights. Right. I don't know that one can be topped.
One of these days, Dak is going to reach out to you. And I don't know if it's going to be when you are getting the belt put around you in Bellator, or if it's just randomly going to be that he's listening to a podcast and he hears that story once again, knowing that.
I hope so. There's no beef. I just want him to
just acknowledge you,
to come up off of it. Like you thought, I guarantee he thought that man, he's going to murder this guy. And I wonder, I don't know if you heard in the interview, but I wonder if Bob, the guy, his coach's name, he didn't stay there that much longer after that. And I wonder if the football players were had wrote him off, because he lost to a guy who looked like he had never touched a weight in his life. Little did they know, 3 times a week I was doing CrossFit for an hour straight and then going straight into either sparring or rolling for and that took up 3 hours of my day, just straight back to back, because I knew he was going to be strong and stout, and I had to meet him head on. I was 19 years old too, and I beat him up. Probably one of the worst beatings I've ever put on somebody. So that little extra motivation for him being at Mississippi State and me being an Ole Miss fan and working in Oxford, there's really not much better on that when I have an eternal victory over the school and Dan Mullen in a way.
That's what you just love to hear. I mean, we want to see Big Tuna getting out there, hopefully early 2022.
I
What
seen
would
they
you
were going to Mohegan Sun in December. I mean, what's Machida doing? Is he on vacation or making acai? Like, come on, man. What's up?
I don't know if
Maybe
anyone's going to
even
have an
Melvin
answer to that
Manhoef.
one. But
Maybe even Melvin Manhoef. Like, bro, my first fight backstage warming up, I was watching Melvin Manhoef and Badr Hari highlights before the fight. That's somebody asked me the other day. They were like, dude, I shared a quote. My first fight was 10 years ago, like earlier this month, and I shared a Facebook memory, and I quoted Melvin Manhoef. One time he said, "It doesn't matter what's going to happen in the ring because I'm prepared to die, so it doesn't even matter." And it's true, man. Like, and they were like, "Is it crazy to think that that's like a real possibility that you might actually fight him?" And I was like, "Who you telling, man? I know it. It is crazy, you know." And honestly, I'm not scared of anybody. Don't take me the wrong way here, but I'm more scared of Melvin Manhoef than anybody else in the top 10. Anybody else, because he's got that.
that
He kicked him so
intimidation
hard.
factor.
You remember when he fought Robbie Lawler? He kicked him so many times. Even though he lost, he kicked him so many times. He had to have knee surgery. Kicked him that hard.
Yeah. And I mean, Robbie Lawler's gone up against some of the best to ever do it. So for that to be a reality that could be a matchup for you, possibly near future, I mean, there's.
That lets me know I'm here, man. And that's another thing. Being an encyclopedia, like I got a leg up on these guys because I've been watching them my whole life and studying in a roundabout way. So like Machida and Manhoef are going to have to go back to the drawing board. They don't know anything about me. They're going to have to find a way to beat me doing something fresh. I've got
Right.
them
And
figured out.
that's a really good point, because now your next opponent, I mean, yeah, they can go past your Bellator fights, but really in Bellator, they have 38 seconds, which that really doesn't
Not a
show
lot to
much.
go off of.
So, I mean, how big of an advantage do you think that plays in your part, that their studying is not going to be as adequate as yours will be?
Right. I mean, even like I'm fooling Josh Thompson and Big John because you watch any of my fights and they're all different. Even the way I do everything is different. So there's no way to get a real read on it. Maybe the UFC will cut John Jones and he'll come to Bellator. And I've been training my whole life to be the guy that actually beat him. And I got the son. Now give me the father. Let's
Hey,
go.
someone else that the UFC could possibly cut after this weekend could be Paulo Costa, because that's a shit show of a situation if you've been looking at that
I
at all.
disapprove 100%.
How unprofessional in your mind as a fighter is that he is now coming in supposed to be at 185 and he's weighing in at 212 right now.
I'm not surprised, bro. Like I know I fought a guy one time that weighed 225 the Wednesday before we fought on a Saturday, and he made 206.
Oh my God.
They do it.
I just can't imagine your body is feeling too good once you're entering the fight.
No, I broke his orbital bone too. I hit him so hard. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Drawled out, looking like SpongeBob with the suds. Crazy.
Well, that's pretty much everything for me. Sam, do you have anything that you want to kind of bring up?
No, I mean, mine were, those fights that anybody you were thinking about fighting. You said Machida, a couple other guys a little bit outside of the rankings as well.
Anybody in the top 10. Honestly, the two biggest threats to me are those two wrestlers, Alex Polizzi and Grant Neal, because while I would probably knock them out or submit them, they're just going to try to lay on me for a decision. Whereas, like, when a guy like Vadim Nemkov takes you down, he's trying to get you out of there, which is, I'm more of my speed. I want to fight somebody that's going to fight me back, not point fight me.
Right.
And I think Bellator knows that. Even Luke Trainer, I respect him big time. He's a fighter's fighter. A modern fighting man, as Tyson Fury says. I'm cut from that same cloth.
Yep.
That's
and
what we
then,
love to
yeah,
hear, and it makes for exciting fights. That's really all the fans want. So, I mean, we don't want to see a wrestling match that just gets taken to decision with no ground and pound, nothing that
Get them
really
out of the
brings
top
any,
10.
yeah, nothing that brings content or any like
Put me and
anything
Tuna in
extra.
the top 10. I'm going to be honest. Bellator should probably stop rehashing cut UFC fighters and take guys like me and build their own, man. Look at AJ McKee.
Yeah,
Example, dude. I mean, one of the he's a star, you know. People don't realize it, like, but people everywhere know about him, not just casual fans. You know, when they start learning about it, then he's popular, but he's great. To beat Patricio Pitbull like that, I've been watching him since the Bellator was had the Everlast gloves, the black Everlast gloves. He was watched him fight Wilson Hayes at one of my first girlfriend's house. He hit him with a flying knee. Blew my mind. Chandler, all of those fights from 2000. Man, I've been watching it. It's crazy that they've seen these guys, and now I'm running into them when I come out.
yeah. I'm kind of hoping Bellator can figure it out and start getting some of these guys from Dana White Contender Series that don't end up with contracts. Because I watched some of these guys, and I'm saying like that was such an entertaining fight, but now I have no idea where to go watch this kid.
Yep, absolutely right.
But
There's 100 guys out there like me. It's just nobody's met them yet. You know,
exactly what it is.
I've keeping an eye on some guys around my parts that are gonna, be, great fighters with some charisma and some got their own style, not just cut and dry MMA point fighting type deals.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ben, we'll let you go. It sounds like your daughter can't wait for you to start making her lunch for a field trip tomorrow.
Gotta get ready, man. She said she wants to get up early too. So they're going to the pumpkin patch.
Hey, perfect time for it. Ben, enjoy the rest of your night. We'll stay in touch. Any last words from you before we let you go?
Scott Coker, call me on Zoom, baby. Just give me a call. Heard an interview where Corey Anderson went and had lunch with him. I'm down to come have lunch with you, dog. But I know you're a busy guy. You're getting international too. Just hit me with the Zoom call so you can know who your future champion and possibly part owner of Bellator is.
Perfect. All right, Ben, we'll let you go.
I even shared that this will fit in here. My gosh. Yeah.
I mean,
anyways, good night, guys.
Huge. Good night.
Take it easy, bro.